My life be like, ooh, yeah, ooh. My life be like, yeah, ooh.
Hello everyone and welcome back to My Irrelevant Life. I'm your host Ella Jonah and today I'm joined with a special guest, Miss Jenna Hughes. Hi Jenna. Jenna is my sorority sister and today we're going to be talking a little bit about like our Greek life experience. So first of all, this was like a very sought after topic. Everyone wanted me to do this and talk about all the tea. So I'm our former sorority president, for those who don't know, and Jenna was on my executive board and she was on exec with me the year before. So we've seen it all pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, too much, I think.
Yeah, too much, I think. But I figured I would bring her here and we can chat a little bit about like what our experience was like and like why we chose our sorority and why I think Greek life is worth the shot. Like I really enjoyed Greek life. I know you really love 80 Pi.
Yeah, 80 Pi is the reason I stayed at this school.
That's what I say. I always say that. I like would not have still been here today if it weren't for.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, especially because like friend drama. I feel like we both have similar situations. Like our housing or our friends was all so crazy, and you had like the sorority to escape to. So that's why I'm still here. But so let's talk a little bit about like why you chose 80 Pi, what your recruitment process was like all that.
Yeah, well, I didn't have 80 Pi as one of my tops.
Really?
Beforehand. No, I did not.
What about on like the last day?
On the last day? Yes, I did.
Okay.
But I didn't know anyone else who wanted 80 Pi. When I ran home, I was by myself. I remember I sought out you.
I know, I saw.
And I didn't know who you were. And I was like, I'm just going to stick by this girl's side the whole time.
We definitely have a photo together.
We do. You were like one of my only like pictures at the day, yeah. But 80 Pi literally changed my life. The girls are my best friends now. You're one of them.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have met any of you if it wasn't for the sorority.
Yeah, definitely. I feel the same way. Like, I kind of knew I wanted 80 Pi, but I had a really specific circumstance because my mom was in 80 Pi, and she was kind of, like, pressuring me over the phone, like, don't pick anything else. And I really liked this one other sorority. On the last day, on the second day, I didn't have 80 Pi first. I had it second. And then on the last day, I traded the two. So I, like, knew I wanted 80 Pi kind of, and, like, I knew that I was going to give it a really fair shot because I didn't know if 80 Pi was going to be, like, the same at our school as it is at, like, her school or whatever. So I kind of just wanted to, like, give it a fair playing ground. But I think that, like, I found the people that are most similar to me. Like, I feel like our sorority is very, like, everyone's either, like, the same or there's, like, two different types of 80 Pies, I think.
I agree. Well, how would you categorize? Party Pies.
Party Pies and sorority Pies.
I think I fall under both. So do you.
I think we're kind of middle ground. But that's most of our exec was middle ground.
Yeah, I agree. Well, you like manifested being the president of the sorority.
I know. That's so embarrassing.
And you're you too.
In my little video. I know. I said it it's actually still on the internet, so everyone could go watch that embarrassing video.
No, it's cute.
It's cute, but it's so cringe. But one thing me and Jenna have in common is we both held positions for all 3 like years you can. So do you want to talk about your position?
Yeah, how I ended up there. I actually ran for my first position in the special elections. I didn't go through regular elections like you did because I was too scared. And you were
Honestly,
like one of the only freshmen who did.
I was. It was like me and one other person. It was scary.
Yeah, it was scary. And I didn't have the confidence at the time like Ella did. And you ran for a big position.
I know.
Yeah, Instagram specialist is a big position.
I know.
But someone reached out to me to run for special elections, and I did. And it was right when COVID hit, so I didn't really do anything.
What were you?
Chaplain.
Oh.
So I was supposed to give, like, inspirational quotes. I didn't even do that. I would just say, no report.
We were on, like, Zoom.
We were on Zoom, so I'd be like, no report. And nothing else. But I wasn't even going to run for exec my sophomore year. I think I was just bored.
Did people, like, pressure you into it? Or not pressure, but, like, encourage?
No. I think I just did it because I was running for the orientation position. I was like, I might as well do this, too.
Yeah.
I was just, like, feeling, like, I don't know, rebellious, and I was like, let me just put myself out there, and I got the position. I didn't think I would.
Right.
It wasn't an elected position, it was an appointed position, so I was really surprised by that, and then I ended up on exec with Ella, which was crazy, and then we went against each other for president the next year. I knew I wasn't getting that. That was like, Ella, you were born for that position.
Thanks.
I just did it for funsies. And I ended up with vice president of marketing my 3rd year, which was, I feel like, meant for me.
So like you said, I did the digital marketing position. That was like a big step for me to take. I kind of just was like, I'm going to do it. I don't know if I just decided to do it on my own or if like my big told me to do it. But I was like,
It was like your major anyway.
Yeah,
like,
it was. It was like, that was kind of the point. I was like, oh, this like fits into what I want to do. So why not?
For me, I'm an elementary education major, so it has nothing to do with what I want to do, all of these positions, but I feel like I have that creative sense.
Yeah.
But you're better with editing. I feel like I'm more like following the trends. So like
Right.
I figured out how to like make the TikToks and stuff like that, but I like following trends. I'm also a very like neutral color scheme girl, like and
Yeah.
you're very bright. So we took the sorority from like bright colors to just monotone.
Like
yeah.
a neutral. Yeah, but that's like when we were freshmen, before I was digital marketing, it was like neutrals. And then I took over, made it colorful, and then I was vice president of marketing, so I just kept that going because VP of marketing kind of like oversees all that. And the only reason I ran for that position, I was between that, panel delegate,
That was my position.
and I was or new member ed, but new member ed was mainly just because everyone called it like the pre-president position.
I ran for new member ed too
And I,
because
like,
of education.
Didn't want it. I like didn't want it, so I ended up not putting it down. I like just was like maybe I should write it down because then I have a better chance of being president. Like that's what everyone was telling me, and I was like, but I'm not gonna do a good job because I don't care.
Yeah.
Like there was not something like that makes more sense for like you and the girl who held it our year. That was perfect for her. Like it just makes more sense. Like Sam did that. She did a great job. I would have done a horrible job. I was more like into the marketing thing. I was like, I'm not gonna like go do something I'm not good at just to become president.
You can't be creative in that position either. I mean, like somewhat, but it's mostly just teaching and like being that role model for those girls, and that's like more my like pathway, I guess, because I want to be a teacher, and you're more creative and in the marketing realm, so it makes more sense for the positions that you had.
Yeah, and I liked doing marketing. I liked working with everybody. The one thing that about being on exec, especially like we were on it for 2 years, which like only 3 of us were on it for 2 years last year. And the 3 of us were so done, I think. We were kind of in a place where we couldn't be over it, but we were over it. And we just like, you devote so much time that you grow to like, not hate, but really dislike certain people or certain things. Like, it gets annoying.
It gets to the point where it becomes a job and not something you enjoy.
Right.
I feel like if we were on it for 1 year, we would have just like carried our term out like with excitement. But for me, after recruitment, I checked out. Like it was bad. I stopped going to things. Like that's not something I should admit on this podcast, but I just like couldn't do it anymore. And I think it was because I had the previous year as Panhell on the board. I couldn't do it again. Like I couldn't keep going.
It's definitely draining. And also like like now we're general members and I'm enjoying it so much more.
Are you? Because I'm not.
I am.
I'm not. Well, you had a lot on your plate with president.
Yeah.
Towards the end of last semester, I didn't really do anything, so I feel like I've been a general member since like October.
That's fair.
But I don't like not being in charge.
I mean, I miss a few things. Like I definitely miss knowing like what's going on.
I'm not upset about giving it up because they're doing a great job.
Yeah, I think it's like one of those things where I was sad for sure at the end of the semester. Like I cried at the last chapter when I did the last chapter. But it's just like, it's not even I'm crying because I'm like sad that I'm not going to be president anymore. It's like almost like an end of an era. Like
because we did it for so long.
And you work so hard to be in the place you're at. Like I ran for a position since I was a freshman. I was trying to be in that spot. So because like I got to fulfill that, and I think we had a great term. I think our exec was great.
I agree. Our last year.
Our last year. Our first year was maybe
our first year was like a little
that was a little rough.
Yeah.
But like as far as like actually fulfilling like what I wanted to do, and then you like leave and you're like, wow, like I'm gonna miss this so much in a semester. Like the fact that we're graduating and that this is our last semester as sorority girls or whatever, it's sad.
I'm staying here for my grad year, so I'm gonna show up to recruitment like a washed up
you
sorority
should.
sister and just be like, "What's going on, guys?" Yeah. But everyone's gonna be annoyed. I feel like if I just pull up.
Well, I'm gonna come to like Big Little.
Yeah. So I'll be here already, so I might as well.
Right.
But
like I'll come back.
yeah, I just don't like not being in the know, and I also don't like not. I feel like we devoted at least 4 or 5 days of our week to 80 Pi. Now I'm doing absolutely no 80 Pi.
Yes, wait, that is so true. This is actually taking this whole podcast. This is taking the place of my president roles. And the amount of time I spent on 80 Pi is now what I'm putting into this.
Which is good, but it's like such a switch because you were doing 80 Pi for so long.
Yep.
And it's just
thing I don't really miss is sometimes working with certain people.
Oh, I agree.
Like we both
I agree.
This is like the real tea of being a sorority exec, I guess. He's like, I don't hate anybody. I really don't. Like, I love all my sisters, whatever. Like, I'm not super close with everybody. We have like a little under 200 girls. And when I was president, it was 200 for the first semester. So, like, we had 200 women. Like, I'm not going to know everybody in the sorority. No shot. But there were some girls that I like knew better than others. And then some girls that were like the not the problem people, but like they would be like the people constantly complaining about things, and like you're just like, I'm so done, and I do not miss
And the
that.
funny thing is, I was friends with most of those girls, and like I was one of those girls, but it's funny because like I was the one sitting in the position like running
Right.
everything, but I would also be the one to complain.
Yeah,
a
no,
lot.
100%.
I was drama, and you know that.
Yeah.
I would cause Ella some drama sometimes. Like,
Yeah, Jenna was
Don't get me
definitely
wrong.
a thorn in my side at some points.
Yeah.
But not all the time.
but like sometimes.
There were like certain points of time where I was like, bro.
No, I would actually want to beat Ella up. We would fight and then we would make up
I
like
know.
after the
Well, because
end
if
of the
we
conversation.
weren't doing anything 80 pie related, I didn't hate Jenna. But,
No,
like, the
I know.
second we walk into exec, I was like, I can't.
I think it's because we're both such strong personalities,
Yeah.
and like you would disagree with me or I would disagree with you, and like we wouldn't accept it. So
No.
we like it would be like on Monday night at midnight, and we're fighting in a classroom over like a sweatshirt, and then I'd have to walk away and cool off, and I'd be up until 2:00 in the morning just like ranting to my roommates about it. Because you didn't like the angel on the sweatshirt that I brought for like a proof, and you'd be like, I don't like that, and I'd be
No.
like, why? Yeah, but no.
Also, because we just had different styles, but like the overall, like the goal of like marketing at least is like to show 80 pie. And like Jenna, you're very like trendy. So you were like, oh, this is like popular right now. Like we are kind of fitting into this like trendy mold, and like we were looking great on campus. So I'm not like
yeah, we
saying.
got the outstanding public relations award.
We did, which was really cool because that was like end of my term, beginning of your term.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of like what I was trying to do was just like showcase personalities. But then also like I liked making edits. I liked the design
Mm-hmm.
things, and my style and design is so different than your style and design. You like the angels and the hearts.
Yeah. Everything that's like on Pinterest.
Yeah.
Is what White Fox, all like
Yeah.
I'm literally wearing it. I copy most of our merch from that. Like
Yeah, our sweatshirts for this, like our chapter gift sweatshirts that we did as like an outgoing exec present to the sorority, Jenna found on Pinterest in White Fox, and I recreated it for the chapter.
I feel like we were a good tag team. And honestly, like if I was sitting on exec right now with someone who was in my position for vice president of marketing, I would take control. So I really like respect how you
that I, like,
didn't
stepped
do that.
back?
Yeah, how you stepped back.
It was
'Cause
really
I don't
hard.
I was gonna say because looking at it now, thank God I'm not on that board because I would literally just take control of everything because
Yeah.
I just did it for the past year.
Gonna be
So-
honest, it's really hard. It's hard to like watch somebody do what you just did and not do it the same
And
way.
do it differently.
Yeah, and be like, okay. Like,
So
I
I
have to
see where
go.
you're coming from now, like sitting
Yeah.
here with someone else in my position. So
I definitely like kept. There were some things you guys did that I wouldn't have done personally that I liked, but I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
And so I like kept my mouth shut for the most part. But I like cartoony kind of like. There was this one.
it's one ugly sweatshirt.
It's not ugly. It's so cute.
Well,
it's
now
like a
it's
little.
like trendy, but this was before it was trendy.
I
and-
saw it coming because I
'Cause you
knew.
just predict,
I
like-
predicted it.
Yeah,
but you were
okay.
like, "This is ugly. I hate this."
I think we were a little drunk too. When you showed me that hoodie, and I was like, Ella, this has to be the ugliest sweatshirt I've ever seen in my life.
It was so funny. We were at we had like an exec that was like a more casual exec,
Mm-hmm.
which we did like once every month just because we needed time to cool off.
Yeah.
And we would do like, so we got together and I was like, oh, we should do this for the PR, whatever. And you were like, that is the ugliest thing. It was like the sun and the moon holding hands,
Stop.
like walking.
I still think it's ugly.
I love it.
No,
I
think
still love it.
It's still ugly.
But I love little cartoony things like that.
Yeah, but that's just not my vibe.
No.
But like,
I
you
liked the thing
respected
we
it.
did. Yeah.
What did we even end up doing? What was this for?
I think it was for the PR shirt.
Oh yeah,
Maybe not.
Well, I also just can't make decisions for the life of me, so I don't know how I ended up in this position. So how many proofs did I make for that PR shirt? Like
oh my
maybe
gosh,
45
we saw
different proofs.
maybe 100 before.
Yeah, of like just even like changing the size of the like
Yeah.
heart that I made. Like I changed the design maybe 15 times like before I actually decided. But like you helped in that aspect, like
Yeah.
helping me make decisions, which was good.
Yeah, I think we like worked well together, and like you learn a lot from being on a sorority like executive board or like working with the organization, because obviously like, as a member you get a lot out of it, just like getting to meet people. And like I don't think it's easy to make friends in a sorority. Like I think you have
No,
to
it's really not. I only made friends because of my positions. I
you
think.
have to like put yourself out there, even though you're paying for your friends or whatever everyone says. Like you don't just get them.
No, yeah, you could pay all 4 years and not make a single friend. It's like what you put into it is what you get out of it.
Yeah,
and they
100%.
always tell you that when you go through recruitment, but that's
I think it's
100%
so true. It's so true.
100% true.
And like even like there's mandatory things you have to go to that like no one really wants to, but you have to. That's not where you're making the friends. You're making the friends at like sisterhoods, at like
When you run into them at the bar, like
Right.
that's when you're like making friends.
Agreed. And like you want to put yourself out there. So like we did positions, which was really helpful. That's how I made most of my friends. Like
no, me too.
Besides like my two really close friends that I live with that are in 80 Pi, neither of them were in positions, and I met them just like being in 80 Pi. But besides them, all my 80 Pi friends are through being like in the position I was in.
I also feel like I made different friend groups like throughout the years, like within 80 Pi. Every year it's a new friend group. I feel like right now I'm really close with the senior girls.
Yeah, which is nice.
Because it's our senior year, obviously. But every year I feel like recruitment is a big part of making friends because you're there for 3 days until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's different like when you're in a position because I was running around during recruitment. So were you. So like we weren't hanging out like chit-chatting with people.
No.
So like that's a time where general members like can
make
get close
friends.
and make friends.
I did not make friends during recruitment. I made enemies.
No, yeah, you did make it. I feel like I didn't make any enemies during my recruitment.
No, but I don't think during my actual recrument when I ran it, I don't think I made any enemies except for maybe with the current president that was at the time.
I made an enemy during that time. Yeah,
we didn't really.
It was a high stress situation.
Our first exec year was just like a mess and a half. I think like I did not enjoy myself. Like
it wasn't fun.
No,
it was not fun.
Second year was fun though because I like felt like I knew people. I was more chilled. Like
I was sad when it ended, honestly, because the first year when the old exec went out, I wasn't upset that we were like transitioning into a new exec.
Neither was I.
Yeah, like we didn't have like the connection that we did with our former exec, with our like recent exec. I feel like we were very close.
Yeah, our like the 2022 exec was like so good, and it was also just like I made more friends during that recruitment process. I think like when I was running recruitment, it was like I didn't have time to talk to anybody. Then like the second year when I was president, I had more time to like get to know people. But like I also had people complaining to us, like, and then anytime like they would complain to Jenna, it got like deflected onto me because you were like, I'm not dealing with this right now. Go deal with Ella, and then I dealt with it. So I like feel like that was like a hard part about being president, like having to like lay down the law.
Yeah, and deal with the issues. Yeah, because I wasn't dealing with it.
No, which like not your place to, honestly. Like it was my job to do that, and like. You learn so much, and you learn from like being in positions and getting to meet people. Like I feel like I learned a lot that I'll take into my life, and I feel like you have too. And I think that like I wouldn't trade my sorority experience for anything. I know like we talked a lot about positions basically the whole time, but that's because we were on exec together.
Yeah, and that was like our whole entire experience. Like, being in a position.
Now stepping back, it wasn't my whole life, but it's why I stayed at Sacred Heart. It was 95% of my memories at this school are from being in a sorority. Like.
Majority of our friends are in this organization.
Like I would not change it for the world. All the stress, all the crying, like all the drama was almost worth it because all the good stuff that we got out of it was like I will never replace that for anything.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have stayed here. This wouldn't have been my life. I wouldn't be sitting here right now if it wasn't for 80 Pi and going through recruitment that weekend.
Yeah, no, 100%. So yeah, well, thank you, Jenna, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you all for tuning in to My Irrelevant Life. Feel free to comment down below or ask us any questions about Greek life. I'll have Jenna like send me some answers if you guys want to like message and ask some questions about what it was like. I hope you enjoyed getting to listen to our irrelevant stories about our Greek life experience, and try not to miss me too much. See you on the next episode. Bye.
Yeah.